Yeah, here we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Trip Starlick, and I welcome you back to the Starlick Observatory. I am over whatever ailed me this weekend, and I'm here to talk about my royal awakening, and sometimes it's known as I Shall Live as a Prince or something like that, but my
Mm-hmm.
royal awakening is like the official name. So, it's a manhwa by Dopamine, I believe is the author, and it's like not that long. We all read it. We all have varying opinions on it. And I will let my friends introduce themselves today, like I always do.
Yep.
Even though.
Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Toto Hex, the smartest science turtle. Hello, Shonei-chan. I didn't even realize that I'm in chibi form today. Huh?
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask.
I think it's all good.
It's
Hi
cute.
guys. Name is Realm, Professor Guide to the Stars, local historic fried chicken lover, I guess. Happy to be back.
Hey, I'm Faye. I'm a book fairy, food enthusiast, comfy specialist, and sass master.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wonderful. Oh, I can't reply to that message. Okay, Plant. Thank you very much for the 3 month sluggling sub. Yes. So we're getting really into sharing our opinions right before stream, but we stopped ourselves because then we'll just have to repeat ourselves, right? So gosh, who wants to give a rundown on what this is about?
I will
This
go
being
ahead and do
Realm's
that.
idea. I
Okay,
think Realm
Yes.
it's Realm. Realm gets
Cut
to
the
do
whole
it.
cut the whole spiel.
Got this
All
wrong.
right. So crazy, but imagine this. Your name is Lee Hyun Ho. You are living a unremarkably standard life. You are just getting by, living in the city. But to your surprise, one day you wake up as another person. Not just any person, but the Grand Prince Jin Seong, which, if you knew your Korean history, which I hope you do, hope you're studying, he is the brother to a very infamous king, King Yeon-sun. As in the late early 1500s in the Joseon dynasty of Korea.
Oh,
So, for context, for people who want to learn more a little bit about this, so the Joseon dynasty took place for about 500 years, I'm gonna say. Started in 1392, all the way up to 1897, where the Korean Empire actually lost its rights to exist essentially from Japan. They signed a treaty in 1910, and now it's Japan's. So it lasted for a long time.
Yeah, it's kind of
But
like Middle Ages or like medieval feudal society.
yeah, it would be exactly. It would be like towards the latter half of the Dark Ages, going right into towards the Renaissance. Not all the way there, but somewhere just like towards the end. During this time, especially, one of the so in this type of era, there's actually a king called King Jesso, and one of his descendants of many, 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 many descendants. I think he's had something like 32 of them. Was this king, a very infamous tyrant, who apparently I didn't even know till I read afterwards was like a heinous, cruel. At least that's what the history says for, you know, for context. A really bad tyrant of a king. So he did not live long, but we come in as he is, you know, the brother to this king. So for you, you're trying to figure out your way, and once it kind of smacked you in the face that you know where you are, you want to get your bearings and see what you can do to make the best of your situation. And that
Yeah.
is your start.
Sit down.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically transported into feudal Korea,
Yep.
and then he's trying not to like have his brother become or I guess stepbrother, right? Stepbrother become like a evil tyrant and become the worst king ever.
Indeed. So I when I was reading up, I might as well just toss him out while we're there. He did not rule for very long. He ruled from the King Yonsan. If you Google it, it's coming up with longer names, but most translations just kept it shorter, so I'm just gonna keep it there. 1496 to 1506.
Okay.
In the original history, he was then usurped, which you kind of figure out a coup happens, you know. Anyway, and then he was exiled, and then he got poisoned and died.
Yeah.
So
I
not
see.
lived for a long time, but
And
he
I think
was.
in the real life history, it was like his mother was one of the queens, or like the second queen, and basically slapped the father, the current king at the time, and basically she was exiled and then like punished for that, and then eventually poisoned. But then the son didn't know about it and was raised like thinking that the third queen was his actual mother.
Yeah.
And when he found out that his actual birth mother had been killed by the previous king, that's when he went into like Mad King mode and started like killing peoples and
Two
like
purges, in fact.
yeah, purging the literati. And apparently, his stepbrother, the next king, wasn't much better and also did 2 other purges.
Yeah. Purging was apparently just like what you did.
No.
Man, a trend's a trend.
Yeah.
Literally, like they could not stop.
It was really funny to hear them in the manhwa say like, "That's what family is for. We gotta stick up for each other." When literally, like all of these like kings and stuff were killed by family members who wanted
Yeah.
to take power.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
Like
nobody
you should
stuck
have
together.
no reason to trust your family.
So
Actually,
very early, well, besides your character, Jin Xiong getting his bearings straight, you get a good layout of the land of like the palace area, and you can see that like there's a lot of not I don't want to say dishonesty. I mean they're not honest, but like there's a lot of discourtesy towards everybody because they have their own objectives. You know, you have the
their own
elite who
political
care about the
agendas.
nobles and their own personal interests. You have the king who doesn't really want to be a king right now and wants to do his own thing as well. And then you have other people who just say, "Oh, well, we're just living in this land, you know, we just deal with whatever we have, and if it's unjust, well, that just happens." You know? And obviously our time traveler here, Isekai Man, uh was just like, "What the heck? Like this is crazy." But, you know, then he finally
It's
starts
over
to
it.
yeah, he got over it, tried to make the best of it. As much as he can anyway. So the first main arc is to really just kind of prevent like the whole second purge. It hasn't happened yet, so let's just say it. I'm gonna say it takes place in like 1503, I think, because they mentioned with the whole
Yeah, it's a little
blue
annoying that
tail, black
they
ox.
counted years differently, so we don't know which year it was.
Yeah, it just like I know what they said. It happens. The whole like arc when you're coming into it happens a year faster than anticipated.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's just keep it early 1500s. But
Right.
so he's like, oh yeah, by the way, he's married, because
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Yeah. He just gets a lady automatically.
Hmm.
Honestly,
This is
I'm
a
fine with it.
prince.
I didn't
Yeah,
need them
I
to
don't
drag out
care.
the romance.
I don't care.
I was fine. They seem to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Yes,
They
I
do.
love their little relationship. No, I just like that. Like he's just like, oh my god, I don't remember this. What's this? What's that? But when it came to the girl, he remembered every virtue of a
Oh,
beautiful
you're right.
Korean woman.
I
He
didn't
just could
think about
recite it
that.
from
Could
leap.
recite it from memory.
That's kind of cute.
But
Mhm.
also, like, I like that he was using like modern like ideas of like gender roles and feminism to treat her like better than like women were normally treated during that time.
Yeah, and it was a little controversial too.
Yeah, it was controversial to the other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like he you know he exemplified a little bit. We were talking about it just before the stream started, but it was very much dropped bits and pieces of other manga type character tropes.
Yeah.
Like he was the ditzy main character who just like, oh, I'm just doing it. Let's just go, guys. Come on. Like, and he just loved it. And then eventually he changed the perceptions of other people over time. Not a
Mhm.
whole lot, but he did
Mhm.
it his way, and people appreciated it. So
Yeah.
I thought it was cute. I love the relationship.
Yeah, it was cute. I think she doesn't get ignored too. Like she doesn't do a ton because she is again just a noble lady in the 1500s or whatever. But they still like show like how she processes her emotions and how she like does like fall for her king or her husband, everything. The prince, the grand prince.
Yeah, and President Jinsong is
Jinsong,
our
yeah.
main character.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, side
Mhm.
stories were done really well in this. I really enjoyed all the side stories.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I feel like
Mhm.
yeah, most of the side story I would agree with that statement without like just getting into the plot too hard. But gosh, yeah. I don't because the way that manhwas are written, it's hard to like where does one point start and when does one point stop. So I guess we can just
Yeah.
like talk about our favorite points or our least favorite points, and then
Well,
we'll like
okay,
eventually get to
Since
the.
we're here at the start, let's talk about like how they introduce his stepbrother, who's
Oh, sure,
the
yeah,
current
yeah.
king and everything. And I feel like this manga really started out going for like a dark tone because like at the very beginning, the two brothers go hunting together, and then Grand Prince Jinson, our main character, gets knocked off his horse and almost gets impaled by a boar. And his brother like comes in, saves him, slays this boar in a big old bloody battle, and then chops Jinson's horse's head off because he was like, "How dare you like run away from your master? You don't deserve to be alive."
Yeah.
And like you just see like full on horse decapitation, and it was like, oh my god, this guy's a psycho. And then like for the rest of the manhwa, it never really goes that hard ever again.
Yeah.
They pull a lot of punches through the rest of it.
Yeah. Or
I just feel like they didn't. Maybe it was just like to hook readers in, but
Mhm.
also I feel like they weren't really sure what they wanted this series to be like at the start.
that could be the case. I feel like a lot of it was simply for effect, or it's like this is the emperor tyrant that you remember from your history
Yeah.
lessons.
And then like how does he like change and grow from here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm
yeah.
not sure.
At the beginning too, I think they everyone notices like the change in Song because he's a lot more carefree and outgoing. It seems like he was a very quiet prince before, quiet and scared of his older brother, too.
But then they kind of just don't question it. They just are like, I can't believe he's getting involved in politics, and they like play it off because he's like supposed to be like a teenager and he's maybe just like going through his changes to an adult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. They honestly, if there was anything to like harp over, I definitely didn't want them to harp over his changes because that can lead to like, I don't know, that could lead to like
Yeah,
dragging down the
yeah.
story. I'm happy the king is like, you know what? I kind of like his changes. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that it's good that they weren't like just super sus of him all the time, and that's not what the plot was trying to do. That's not what the plot was about.
Yeah, that would have been just like really annoying and repetitive.
Yeah.
Like
Every
who's
point him
he?
trying to
Yeah.
hide. In fact, he doesn't try to hide at all. In fact, it got to the point where I was like, do they really not question him? Like saying like, oh man, I wish I could like Google this.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like
He does get a little out of pocket.
yeah. He just like
You're
out of pocket
absolutely
has
right.
like modern references.
Yeah.
Like he says, this fried chicken is so fucking good.
They're like, what?
At one point,
Oh my god. Now my translation said effing.
Oh.
And I thought I thought it was casual, but when you showed me that, I was just like, I wish I had that.
yeah, my translation said it just said fucking good.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, mine said fucking as well.
You got the censored version.
You get the baby
Man,
version.
but you know what? You know what? I'll take a censored version for consistent translation work, and like I
That's
got
true,
that.
that's true.
It was
That's true.
mwah, chef's kiss. I could not understate how many times I feel like I've seen somebody just put it in Google Translate and go, "Here you go, new chapter." I'm like, no, bring it
Oh
back,
my god,
bring
you're
it
right.
back.
Because
I
there
don't
was one
want it.
part in my translation. I think I posted this as well, where he's like, "What's a prospector?" And his assistant is like, "It's a miner who mines in a mine."
I thought it was supposed to
Yeah,
be a joke. I was like, okay.
I was like, "Wait." I know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was a joke or not at this point. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
really
know.
don't know.
I
I'm
really
gonna
don't
see if I
know.
can find my version of that, but mine did not confuse me what's like with that at all. And then like you said before later
So it
with
was
the whole
different.
arc thing, like it was just very wordy, but it didn't hurt. I have a feeling that hurt to like you like it had to take like a
I
double
thought it
take.
was
You're like,
super
what?
funny. A miner
What?
who mines in a mine.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
I mean, that's
Hey
very
yo, dog.
specific.
It's super specific. A miner who mines in a mine.
Like,
Mhm.
I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
Yeah, it's not a miner who sits in a mine or a miner who mines in a river. It's a miner who mines in a mine.
The miner who mines the mines mindlessly, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Do
Is it your mine or is it mine? Mine.
you know what? Honestly, I don't mind.
Oh,
Oh my
okay.
gosh. No, not the child labor joke. No.
We were so carefully avoiding it.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think you're right. I feel like I didn't really understand where they were trying to go at the beginning, and then they kind of thought all these ways that Shin-Sung could make life better, like addressing the smallpox issue. He also just, I think Jin-Sung's main thing at the beginning is if I like calm him or make him take breaks from his job or, you know, just become his buddy, maybe he won't murder everyone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's like, "What do you do to relieve your stress?"
He's
And
friend.
He just
Yeah.
needs friends.
his brother's like, "What do you do to relieve stress?" And the king's just like, "I hunt and I kill.
I
And
hunt
I
and
like it when
kill.
the animals struggle."
Yeah, it's like, whoa, dude, whoa. Yeah. So he like takes him out and they like drink outside. He invents Jenga.
He does a lot of things. Now, I will say, I just thought of this now. This was, I think, another point that they had a solid idea that they're like, oh, let's go at solve the bigger issues of like this time period. And
Mhm.
then they went like east instead, and they're like, no, you know what? Jenga. I want fried chicken. I want seaweed and oyster soup, you know? Because like you said at the beginning with the whole killing and the hunting thing, like it could have been a darker story, but then it
Mhm.
lightened up. And then you go to the smallpox thing, you're like, oh my god, like this is a huge deal, you know, like all the king's kids have died except for this one, and he's fighting for his life.
Oh,
Solved.
yeah.
I
Going
actually really
on,
like that. I
Jenga.
was hooked on that smallpox plot.
Mm-hmm.
Actually.
Yeah. Had it, and
I
then pulled back and said Jenga.
I just said Jenga. I think what I really liked about the smallpox whole thing was Jongum, the little girl that was like a
Yes,
nurse.
she was
I liked
awesome.
her.
And she was like, she grows up later to become like the first like female physician in Korea,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was great. She was just a sassy lost child.
Sassy lost child.
You know?
Who
I
is-
really enjoyed all the like historical bits mixed in with all the
Right?
like random other bits.
Because I had like no clue about any Korean history going into this, so I thought this was very enlightening. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Yeah, and it didn't feel like a lecture. So I didn't mean to
Oh no,
interrupt,
no,
but
Yeah.
go ahead.
It,
you're
ju-
fine.
it just it didn't feel like a lecture. It just like popped in, and I loved. Sorry, I loved the woman who was interjecting with the. Oh, by the way, this is what happened to this time. This is
I
what happened
thought
with
she was
this
going
one.
to turn out to be like their future like daughter or something in this
Oh,
alternate
like the
history.
descendant or something.
Yeah, but no,
Mhm.
she was just this random lady.
Yeah, she's just a lady. Which I was like, what? I thought so
She's a
too.
lady who dresses very well and knows things.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's a
There you go.
historian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not all historians dress well. Okay.
Well, She did.
Checkmate.
But yeah, I did think that was fun. I think, gosh, I know, I think I should leave the table open for you, Faye, because I know that you, like, I think that Jinsung, it's not a bad thing that Jinsung lets, like, Jonggun kind of just take over and actually solve the, like, the whole smallpox thing. But I know that you think that he doesn't do enough, so I don't know. How do you feel?
So, like, for me, I guess it's one of those moral dilemmas of if I got to go back in time, but I still have my knowledge, and then I get some influence, like, to spice all that dish up, like, I'm going to use that to the furthest of my ability, like, until I get killed because I'm being too radical, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do what I can.
Yeah.
And I guess, in my opinion, like, as a moral factor, give it a go. So it was really funny that like he was like smallpox, and I was like, yeah, this guy's gonna go places. Jenga, where have we lost the plot?
I understand.
Because I was like, yeah,
Okay.
dude.
I liked it though because his goal wasn't to like rehabilitate society. His goal was just to kind of live a happy life, and he wanted to make sure like he made the world around him happy.
That's
too.
true. His goal was to not become king.
Yeah,
So-
his goal was just to be living as a prince and make sure like his brother doesn't fuck everything up.
Yeah, so I guess that does. But
But
yeah.
I do like that for the smallpox stuff, he actually did have to work for it. He actually had to like go and do the research and find people who knew
Yeah.
more about it because he wasn't. I like that he wasn't an isekai protagonist who just came in being like, I'm actually a medical student and I know everything.
Yeah.
No, he actually like didn't know, and he had to like figure out the historical ways they actually treated smallpox,
Yeah.
which is pretty gross, but it worked. It's like how a vaccine works.
No, yeah, it was really good. I think because of the way the whole push that his internal monologue had about being like a forgotten person in Korea who can hardly get a job. He's not spectacular in any way, so he's just struggling to do the bare minimum. They put a lot of focus on that, I guess, in my point of view. That the fact that like once he got into his new life, nothing really came from that. He just essentially just forgot the struggles he had and was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think you guys are right. Like, Hugh was very up and down with his inventions. Sometimes it was like, we can use soap to disinfect.
Yeah.
And we can like create vaccines. And other times it's like, let's make fried chicken and Jenga.
Yeah.
And billiards.
Although I have read about like 3 to 4 manhwa now where they go to another world and then they invent fried chicken because I think Korean fried chicken is just that good. Like
Korean fried chicken is that
you
good
just
though.
have to make
like,
it
you
in
can't
every
live without it. That's actually one of his more important inventions, to be honest.
I was reading this at a Korean bar, and they did serve fried chicken, so like it
You
is
guys are
pretty
making me
damn
hungry
good.
Now I want fried chicken.
I had army stew too. Oh my
So-
god, now I'm hungry too.
Like, even though I don't think it was that important for life, and in fact it's actually quite complicated to make in that time, it didn't surprise me at all. It's just like what I expect now from...
Wait, can I talk about what pissed me off about the fried chicken now, though?
Sure.
Okay, so he invents fried chicken, and people are like, this is so good. We take like pork fat and like dip the chicken in it and like dredge it in flour and everything, and we cook it. That's so good. And then like in the next chapter, you see that they've opened a like there's a small time skip, maybe like a month or a couple months.
Yeah.
But then it's like they have fried chicken restaurants, and it's like no fucking way. There's no fucking way you would do that. Like these people need their chickens for eggs. You can't just be like going around killing chickens all the time. Like even America didn't have that many fried chickens to sell until like, industrialization where you could have like mass produced chicken.
That's true. They needed the eggs. Yeah, that little girl was like, wow, I've only had...
And like where
chicken,
would you
like,
get all
3
that pork fat
times.
from? Like you would have to kill like a ton of pigs for that. And I don't think I saw a single pig in this whole manhwa.
Yeah, they even say pigs are rare.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So rare that the author doesn't know how to draw them.
Pigs are hard. Pigs are difficult to draw, more difficult than people.
Honestly, you want like a whole wardrobe for the king? Awesome. Piglet, you're out of your mind.
Out of your mind, yeah.
What's the saying? Pearls before swine, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think that's what that quote means, but
No,
yeah.
I don't think so either. As he goes to, he kind of invents soap. He like later on he writes a poem about laundry, and then gives it to his big brother for I don't know, entertainment purposes, or maybe calm him down. He thinks it'll calm him down or something, but instead it just fills his older brother with like blood rage. Which
I
was
love
very
that, though.
silly. He's like, yes,
It
I
wasn't the
must
first time
kill.
either. There was another thing that he said. I think it was like a pun. And my
Oh,
translation
yeah.
it said like, they were eating meat, and it's like, being king is all about meeting expectations.
Yes.
And then his brother was like, you're right. It is all about meeting expectations, as in whether you are a peasant or an animal, a king or a servant, you're all meat in the end when we die.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that was just, and he was like, I need to wait a
Like,
second.
what?
I need to
That's
savor
not-
this. I need to
Maybe
savor.
that's
He's
too
like, oh
deep, bro.
no.
Yeah, you're thinking too deep about this. I just wanted to make fun, man.
Yeah, he was.
I thought that was hilarious, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Later on, Jinsong realizes that his laundry poem has been spread all throughout Joseon, and he's like, it was just about laundry. No.
And then everyone's like, I can really see the king's hatred toward his like administrative officials in this.
Yeah. So he starts like the what are they called? All of like the annoying old men, basically.
Oh,
King's advisors, the
Yeah, his
courtiers.
advisors, and
Yeah.
they start to not like Jinsung at all because he's too boisterous.
So I mean, you have to understand this is very like Confucian society.
Oh yes.
So they would have like this was like influenced by China as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like they would have like examinations for the most educated people to become like these officials. So
Yeah.
there was kind of just like this class of like people, this like noble class of like educated people. But then they would do a lot of things, especially as time went on, they would like try to do things for their own gain.
Yeah. Yeah, try to
But then they would still preach that they were following these Confucian ideals, even though they were being super hypocritical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the king uses that to his advantage later on, but it's okay in the end, kind of.
Yeah.
people got what
Basically,
they
like,
deserved.
He basically entraps them. Like, you can't refuse a drink from the king, but if you drink too much, you also end up spilling the drink on the king, and now you die.
Yeah, now you die.
Or you trip and you touch them, and now you're in jail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was a little sad to me when they were like trying to like shit on Jinsung for hugging his brother, who's like scared his son is going to die of smallpox. Like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
But I do understand, like, you really weren't like, that's how it was in a lot of cultures. Like, you could not touch the king, like no one could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially since, like, honestly, there really is no reason to trust your family in this in this time period, because they were like the most likely one and the ones who had the most to gain from murdering you.
Yeah, that's very true. This is like a very minor thing, but one thing I think this manhwa gave me is that no matter the culture, no matter you are, no matter where you were born, humans will always invent silly looking hats.
Oh, yeah.
And silly hats they had.
It's very Confucian hats, yeah.
Yeah, very neo-Confucian.
Yeah, they were. Some of them, though, I don't know. I was like, why? Okay.
One of them reminded me of a Decepticon for some reason.
Yeah!
Oh,
Decepticon cocoon. Look at
Decepticon
Yeah.
cocoon.
You guys know the one I'm talking about, right? The, like,
Uh-huh.
purple
I do.
one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, it's not just me. Okay, I'm not
No,
crazy.
it's not just you. It's just.
I just didn't have a word for it until you said it, and I was like, yeah, no, that's
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 correct.
correct.
Yeah.
Robots roll out. Got it.
Let's roll out, yeah. Oh boy. But yeah, I think that happens after he. Is that what happens after he cures smallpox? I don't remember actually the.
Yeah, there's a
It,
festival, and then his brother does the whole "Don't come to this festival
Oh,
because
yes.
I'm gonna throw down some shit."
Yes. And he doesn't go.
Yeah.
The advisors all try to like get a one up on him because Jinsong goes to like a farm, right?
Yeah, he
Mhm.
goes to an outer farm village
Yeah, because
where
there's
he met
some
locals.
official is abusing the people there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and he's just being a dick, and so Jinsong like gets just tells him to stop, right? And then he gets punched in the face by the guy.
Yeah, because for some reason this man does not know that he's the Grand Prince.
He doesn't know
Doesn't recognize
somehow.
him.
He is a little plain looking, so maybe.
Yeah.
Which I kind of thought it was funny. Like, it actually kind of does make sense, lore-wise, that people really like they knew of royalty, but like you could barely. They mentioned in the story you could barely ever see what the king
Right,
looks
right,
like,
right.
and so
And
many
then you
times it's like,
wouldn't
oh
expect
my
him to be
god,
there, and he
that's
wasn't
your
wearing like any royal
majesty.
clothes or anything.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I was just like, yeah, that's pretty funny.
So then the officials bring it up in court and to try to distract the king from like them being persecuted and being like, oh, I can't, because the report comes in and they think that the Grand Prince assaulted someone, but no, he was the one who was assaulted, and then that like it turns out the guy who assaulted him was also a relative of one of these officials, and then things were looking real bad for him for a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the official who had been stirring up some stuff for a
Yes.
while.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and I think I don't know. I think it's how do I put this? Like I feel like I don't actually know because I didn't actually read like a book about it, but I feel like these events are kind of what happened. It's just that it didn't end in murdering everyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
so the pretense to capturing that guy during that festival is exactly what happened
Okay.
for the pretense of the second purge. That did happen.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think in some ways the rounding up of the families actually did happen. So I can't say for sure, but yeah, like you said, it wildly got into a all different scenario because Jinsung was there to save the day.
Yeah, because coincidentally, the king's son is cured of his smallpox
Yes.
at that time, and then I think that's it, right? And then the king
Yeah,
learns about
I think you're right.
vaccines, and then as a thank you, Jinson is like, "Yeah, let's just not kill people, please."
Yeah, you can't kill them. Basically, that's his wish. Like, don't
And
kill
then
them.
he's like, "Okay," which is kind of a very easy solution, I guess, to this problem.
Yeah, I was like,
Stop.
oh,
Get
okay,
some help.
sure. Sure. I don't know. How did you feel about all this, Faye? Sorry to call on you.
I was pretty neutral to all of that. I mean, it was just run of the mill like K-drama
Yeah.
Yeah.
court stuff.
Court
Uh-huh.
stuff.
I did like the catharsis of seeing, or is it catharsis? The karma of seeing like these like uppity, like hypocritical dudes like get their asses handed to them in the courts.
I
That
think
was
karma
fun.
is cathartic, so yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's still nice to see. Yeah. But when you can look at like there's like a Reddit for this manhwa, and people just were like waiting and waiting for him to get, or all those advisors to get their asses handed to them. They were so
Mhm.
excited when they finally did. It was cute to read about, read the past, I guess.
Mm.
Uh,
I feel like after this arc, the manga loses steam for a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Up till then, I was like, okay, this is really. I was like, at least like I understood where the plot was going.
Yeah, I was engaged.
Yeah, I was like, cool, all right. And then yeah, what is even the next plot point?
I think the silver mine.
Oh, silver.
So it
That's where
was
you have
the
great line of
silver
mine, mine,
mine
mine.
slash I call
Yes.
this the tech boom
Tech boom.
arc because he was just inventing a bunch of stuff, and then as he
Oh.
was doing that he came across the iron worker, and then went to like, oh, we should really use him, which then it led to like, you know, information or stuff going to the concubine, which preluded to her being, you know, not nice and stuff like that.
apparently she's a pretty infamous figure in history too. She's like the concubine who was like encouraging the evil king, the Mad King, to be evil.
Yeah, I think that their relationship was kind of creepy, in my opinion.
Didn't he call her mommy or something at one point?
Yes, a few
Yes.
times.
And she like specifically tried to look like his dead mom to like
Mhm.
make him
To appease her.
to appease him.
To
Yeah.
appease him, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, girl, no.
Uh-huh. I like
Girl,
the
get
slight
some
look
help.
into this backstory of like this is like literally the only way women were able to get any sort of power, and that's what she was trying to do, and like
Yeah.
have any sort of freedom for herself and have a better life. But then they kind of just throw that all away for her, like, oh no, she's just big bad evil now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually think, well, I think a lot of like historical K dramas and C dramas and even J dramas, like they get into the fact that like women were really conniving because that was the only way for them to have any say in what went on. So I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, Yol isn't conniving; she's just cute.
Yeah, she was pretty cute, but she didn't really do anything.
also
She was
didn't
kind
do
of dazzle in
anything.
disguise.
She's just
That is
there.
true. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Dangyeom was good. The doctor, the tiny doctor
Yeah, I like
girl.
Jangum.
Is-
Jagum?
Oh,
Yeah.
Jangyeom? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jangyeom. Yeah.
Maybe it's I don't know. I'll learn
I
how to
forget.
pronounce Korean someday.
Yeah.
What,
Well, she was good because she actually did stuff.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, even like that little girl whose name apparently meant like dog poop or something. Even she was.
Oh.
She did a bit more.
Oh yeah. Little farmer girl.
Gaetong or whatever.
Yeah, I
Gaetong? I don't know.
I don't know how to speak Korean. Don't
Yeah,
go.
I don't know.
come on.
Sorry, everyone that does speak Korean. Yeah, the translation was like, "This is a very stereotypical child name. It means like dog poop," and I was like, "Why?
Why is that a stereotypical
What do you
name?
mean? I needed more information on that."
I don't think more information would help, though. I think you're just suffering even more at that point.
Yeah. So I guess Noksu starts being more conniving. She decides to like plot to take down the queen because a whole bunch of reasons that we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, because now that the king's like son didn't die from smallpox,
Yeah.
now he's like okay with having his like actual wife instead of his concubine.
Yes. Yeah, so Jinsung popularizes making oyster seaweed stew
Seaweed
Yeah.
stew,
for
yeah.
his wife.
And it becomes super popular with all the court ladies.
Yes. All the ladies like it.
Mhm. Even though husbands aren't supposed to cook, so he's like playing around with the gender roles.
Yeah. So the queen asks for the stew as well,
Mhm.
and the king actually goes and makes it for her. So he
And then
yeah.
the concubine gets all mad.
Yeah, because
Did
she
you guys
thought
like
she
the
was gonna
poem?
get it.
Yeah, did you guys like the poem or the guy's like his 1500s NDA disclosure? You speak about this, you are dead. Your tongue will go flying.
Oh,
Do not
yeah.
speak of this ever
Oh
again.
yeah.
It was like an NDA. You're right.
Because
I thought that was just like a fun little
Yeah.
side story.
It was like a
Mhm.
Confucian. Keep your mouth shut.
I mean, it did kind of relate back to the plot with the whole like concubine and stuff.
No, of course, it totally did. It was just like, I don't know, I guess it went on a little bit longer than it didn't have to go on as long as it did, but I like that it did because it
Mhm.
added more depth to a bunch of characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I did like that too, and I think one of my we talked about this just before stream that one of my own real complaints about the series is that Noksu is like a villain, but I didn't understand why she was a villain. Like I needed slightly more backstory on her. Personally,
I think like her backstory was good, but then this jump from like her being this like poor girl who wanted to climb the social ladder
yeah,
to being the super evil villain who's betraying her friends.
yeah. I was like, where did we go?
We skipped a couple steps there.
How did we get there? Yeah.
Puberty is weird for everybody, you know?
That's true. Power corrupts. Absolutely, or whatever.
Yeah. then she lays a cursed pot. She gets one of her friends to lay this cursed pot
Yes.
by the queen's room.
Yeah, to curse the queen.
There's a pot full of centipedes and snake heads and stuff.
Yeah, I was like, ew, girl.
And
How did you make that?
Grand Prince Jin Song invents forensic science with using fingerprint.
I
Who
was
did
like,
it?
okay, sure.
I mean, honestly, that's a pretty easy way.
That is actually, yeah. I know that it's actually not that hard to collect fingerprints, so okay. Thank you, Nancy Drew.
I did like how the king went to the concubine with a drink and like a bottle and a glass, and that's how they were finally able to collect her fingerprints.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of the armory area?
Oh yeah, because they were like planning on going to wars with the barbarians, I think, at this
Oh
point. as well.
yes.
Yeah, so he had did we skip over that?
I think I forget the
It's-
order of things.
Right. It's okay.
There you go. Long story short, they were there was a point where barbarians attacked. So that was like another clear like push to like the barbarians attacking. And then there was a whole issue where Jin Song met a quote unquote deserter who had really escaped from their a battle because the higher ups were trying to take credit for the fight. They go back, they tell people, like, they tell the king what's wrong, what actually happened, and then from there they realize that they really need to prepare for war, which actually, like, this war does coincide with what actually happened on the border between the barbarians and
with the
and the
church and
Jisung
all.
dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while Jin Sung was trying to give the king ideas, modern ideas of like the noble oblige and getting support and using his actual authority to try to change something, he inadvertently volunteered to join the army
Yes.
in order to fight them so that there was actual support.
Yeah, for the war.
Through a bunch of back and forth, there really wasn't like really anybody knowing if that was actually going to happen or not because of lack of funds and lack
Yeah,
of
we totally
support.
skipped over that Jin Song has like a teacher too.
Oh gosh, you're right.
We did. You're absolutely
Kind of
true.
boring, honestly.
His name
Yeah.
is Jonggon Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
He is a
originally
scholar.
appointed by the courts to like be a spy to make sure Jin Song didn't like get out of control and kept him like in their sights. But he didn't do any of that. He was just like on Jin Song's side almost immediately.
Nope,
Yeah.
because he was a good person.
He's
Yeah.
a good student, I guess.
And he was
Mhm.
studying using modern methods, like you basically translating into like modern Korean. So you
Yeah.
can memorize like the like Chinese characters and stuff. That
Yeah.
they had to study in the courts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they go to war, and then they go to the armory, and you find out at this point they do have gunpowder. So, and they do have the divine weapon,
Mm-hmm.
which I recognize from playing a lot of Civ 5.
Mm-hmm.
The divine
It's
weapon.
it's basically a bunch of like dynamite tied to arrows on a big ol' like what would you call it? Catapult? That's not the word.
Yeah, catapult,
Ballista, kind of.
trebuchet type.
It's not really a
Oh.
trebuchet. 'Cause it's
I
not
think
a-
the
it's
modern
just like a
term-
holster.
I think the modern term for the rocket launcher is Hwacha, but it was a different name in the story.
I think
Yeah.
it's pronounced Trebuchet.
Oh, Trebuchet.
I'm kidding.
Shreya
Alex
Bucket?
Bucket?
Yes. But such
Yeah,
as the
mhm. And then they have like
okay.
bombs and stuff, and then they're going to like basically. They have little like hand pistols too, but he invents like the
Oh.
the butt of the gun so that the recoil doesn't just like knock people away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the original weapon was called the Singi Jeon
Okay.
that was used in this era. The Hwacha came as a result of that.
I see.
Oh, gotcha. So that's actually later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they invent all these things, and there's like the really short inventor guy that's called like I don't even know what his actual name is, but he's
He's
called
the
I
dwarf
just know him
man.
as the dwarf.
Yeah, he's a dwarf.
Like the he was really cool. I liked him in the story. I mean, he just
Yeah.
he just did his thing, loved weapons, and then he's just like, yeah, let's use
You
them. Let's
reminded
do
me
it.
a lot of that one character from Dr. Stone who basically had the same
Yeah,
role.
yeah, that's what I thought
Yeah.
too.
Oh yes. Oh my god, could you imagine he just like ripped his shirt off and he just flexed?
Oh my god, no.
Yeah, and then they meet and then they kiss.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh my god.
And their beards touch.
What if
not
we
the
met?
beards.
What if we met at the hot air balloon?
Just haha, JK.
Just
Unless.
JK unless.
Bros 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, yeah.
It's okay, they're dwarves. They can be 4 feet apart and still not be gay.
Oh,
how it
you're
works, right?
Yeah,
Ooh,
Sort of, yeah.
sure.
wow. Fantasy Levolution right there.
What are we even talking about? They invent hot air balloon too.
Yeah.
They did. Oh yeah, yeah. Quick side note: they made a hot air balloon.
Yep.
Okay, but they actually never really use it for like much because every single time they use the hot air balloon for something important with an enemy nearby, the enemies just never have archers ready.
Yeah.
It's just like seriously?
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah, there was only one time, and the guy got smacked in the face by sand.
Yeah, a sandbag.
Yeah.
Look, that's
Literally
traumatizing, I'm
couldn't
sure.
shoot the gigantic.
100%.
hot air balloon
Those-
guy.
I think those sandbags had to weigh between like 30 and 50 pounds. Could
Oh
you
yeah,
imagine?
for sure. Oh, for sure. That guy's dead.
Like a
Yeah.
5-gallon water jug of sand smacks you in the forehead.
Yeah, from like that high up, you're dead.
100%.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Someone do the physics on that. What's the speed?
This is like the
Mhm.
slapping the chicken to cook it thing.
Oh my god, I love that's one of my favorite
Yeah.
theories. I think it's like 3,900 joules.
I apologize. I apologize for taking us that off track.
No,
My
it's
bad.
fine. I've forgotten about that.
It's like one of my favorite internet lore things.
Yeah.
And from the physics perspective, it totally works.
Yeah. Oh man. um. Yeah, they invent all those things. I like the names that they gave, like these like bombs on the new items. There's like lightning something,
Yeah, flying lightning bolt.
flying lightning bolt. Yeah.
So you can literally be like lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and that's literally what
Like
they
a
do in the
bad
final
D&D
battle.
game.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're right. That's good. So I think Jin Sung is like he says he's going to go to war. And Yol, his wife, is all concerned, and sad, and then the king is like, well, we don't have the money anyway, so don't worry about it. So everybody's relieved at the Grand Prince's palace area for a little while. But then that teacher guy like petitions all of like the other scholars to like,
Yes, it is the
Yeah,
The-
to basically
it was
make a
the-
big scholar petition.
Yeah,
they just
big
called it the
scholar
petition of 10,000.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was called like the Manninso or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in my
Yeah.
Which is interesting
so
history. But
Yeah.
also it's like
10,000
Jin Song is like, wow, the consequences of my own actions. I inspire all these people to go to war and now we're actually going to war.
Yeah, it's like,
Oops.
dude,
Oopsies.
sorry you have to do
I just
something.
wanted to go to war, JK.
Guys, you
a
didn't
little
like
bit of war
mean
crime.
it.
Don't
Guys, it was just a meme. I was just
It
kidding.
was a prank, guys.
It's like, don't
Guys,
Oh.
I was just subtweeting. You don't have to worry about it. It
It's
wasn't
just-
real.
Oh. Oh boy. But yeah.
Imagine if like people who like sign a petition, an online petition or on change.org to go to war were like, wait, we weren't serious. Wait, no.
We were joking.
We were joking.
Oh gosh.
100%.
Yeah.
So, they
Laughs
actually
and
have to
founding
go to
father.
war.
Mhm.
Crazy enough.
Yeah.
And at this point, towards the end of the in between. So when did we figure out? My brain's a little boggled. When did we figure out the pot?
Oh, that was right after. No, we already have that at this point, and then the concubine was exiled, but she gets picked up by some other officials in the government who want
Yes.
to do a coup d'état.
yeah.
When they're trying to figure out the sulfur thing under the thing, they got the pot, and then she's exiled, which is really heart-wrenching for the king, and it happens. But
Yeah,
then
because
she gets.
she looked just like his mom, which is also super weird. Very edible, complex thing.
Mm-hmm. See, your Greek tragedy almost happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's still doing her thing. Alive.
Indeed. So yeah, she is proclaimed dead because they said the boat sank, but she was actually taken to a secluded island where I guess the elites, I don't have any other term for it,
Mhm.
of the former, meaning like, of their own interests, formally sit down and plan out a whole coup d'etat.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
I would say
They
yes.
also visited the north at some point. When was that? Was that before or after?
Oh, you're
Well, what's
right.
up?
They go to visit the north.
No.
uh,
And
Are
that
you
was like the
talking
one like
about?
modern political message where he was like, "Oh man, I wish like
yeah. I wish I
Korea,
could go visit here.
I could go like to Pyongyang like
Yeah.
this easily."
You cannot.
Oh, so that
No.
was when they were going to give the smallpox
Yeah, they were like,
vaccine to the
yeah.
area, to which
Mhm.
they found the quote-unquote deserter, which was this was about the beginning of the barbarian like
Oh, like
arc
barbaric.
itself.
Okay,
So
okay,
I'd
okay.
say
I totally
it was
skipped that.
it was around like it was around 40 chapters in. I mean, I briefly touched on it just to say like, hey, here's how he came back. Here's the deserters. Oh, these deserters, and this whole thing means they have to go to war. He volunteers himself. Yada yada yada.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then they have like Pimp Man go with them to the little like pimp, like an actual like pimp.
Mm-hmm.
Go with
Yeah.
them, and the military people try to like burn down the house, and then the pimp thinks that, oh no, the Grand Prince was like burnt to a crisp under my care, and then he basically decides to abstain from alcohol for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sung Jae Yim.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
honestly, I didn't really care about him.
He's
He didn't really do
Yo,
anything.
I would like a little more time with him. I did not
Yeah.
like what happened to him, so I would like more of him.
Mhm.
Okay.
A substance.
More
We love a
substance.
sober king.
A sober. Yeah, right? Uh, so yeah,
A seltzer soldier.
that'll. Oh my god, a seltzer. Why? Oh.
I like that Chips let that one bake for a minute.
I don't know why it like didn't hit me at first.
I like that Chip snorted from the
Dude, these are
It
these.
hit me
I
so
like these jokes.
slowly.
They got layers, right? Well, I was seeing a video before, and he said sugar daddy, but it was more like dextrose daddy instead, or sucrose senior.
Oh, oh, that reminds me. In my translation, there was like one random part at the beginning where he was like, "Ooh la la, all these senoritas," and in actual like Spanish.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, he
Like,
did do
what
that,
was up
and
with that? Why?
everyone was just like,
What
what?
language are you speaking, sir?
Yeah, first you want spicy, which no one knows, and then you speak in Spanish.
No,
Yep.
Makes sense. This is
muy
good.
caliente.
Yep. Yeah. So that happened, and they run away, and they don't even know that. Jinsung doesn't even know that he was supposed to be assassinated until like later.
Yeah.
hmm So
Um,
yes, passing on forward. This is essentially about the start of the deployment of the Joseon army,
Yeah.
plus the planning of the coup.
Yeah, and he gets a couple students from the college who like basically join him in the army because they're so inspired by him. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
remember the names.
they're his
One of them
they're
is like
his
kind of a little
scholars.
bit important. The other one is not really.
Yeah, so they're scholars and they're scholarly students of Jin Seong's teacher, but they're inspired by him so much. They wrote a note and said, "Haha, we're gone. Okay, bye."
Yeah.
Wow.
They did. They want to they want to see the future of what the Grand Prince has in mind rather than reading old past scriptures.
Yeah.
It's what the note said essentially.
Mhm.
So that was very funny.
Mhm.
I mean, leave
Yeah.
it to college students to be progressive.
Yeah.
That's true.
And also ditch class.
And did class.
The teacher was 20 minutes late. What'd you want them to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously.
I'm gonna go join the war effort,
Yeah, right.
as you know, college students are known to do. Question mark.
Mm.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine someone's like, dude, it's been 15 minutes.
That's
What
true.
do
They
you
were
want to
probably
do?
more high school age, probably.
I'd be like, you know what? I want to go on the moon. See ya.
You know?
Bye.
I feel like back in
Yeah.
the day, war was still something done for glory and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't as deadly as like modern war.
That's true. Yeah. They...
Yes. So we had essentially brushed on the first, I'd say, the first 2/3 of the story.
Yeah.
The whole war and the coup itself is another third of it
Yeah.
that got
yeah.
dragged on. So, what do you guys think up until this point?
I was still enjoying the story, but okay, I think at this point of the story, because they basically had already deviated from the main history, I was like already like, okay, so this story is going on a way more positive light than I thought where it was gonna go. Because at the start, he was kind of doing things that almost seemed to expedite his brother becoming this corrupt tyrant king.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was gonna go in a very Greek tragedy route where it would be like, you tried to escape fate, but that only made fate happen faster. But no.
Right.
At this point, I was like fully like, okay, they're definitely not doing that. They're doing their own thing now.
Now,
Mhm.
did you
And
feel
I think-
disappointed by that?
It wasn't more disappointed. I was still on board for it, but I wasn't quite as engaged with it. Like, I wasn't as captured by it. Because this idea of his brother becoming like this, there was this tension between him and his brother of like, his brother is this very conflicted individual who is more complicated than the history books like seem to allow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a will he, won't he turn evil in the end. At this point, it's just like, yeah, he's not going to turn evil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So
I could
there was
see.
that loss. There was a little loss of depth there, but I was still on board for the rest of the story.
Right. I would say it. I want to touch on one point because I want other guys' opinion. I think they did a good job just clarifying that he had so many points in his life where he could have been a tyrannical king. That like it at least kept it in there that like he like either he's gonna make it or break it as somebody in the history books as this type of king.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess from my perspective at this point, I was still. I guess the thing was, I appreciated this manhwa for being like at least having like at least one plot thread for me to still be interested in. There's a lot of manhwa I just drop because I'm like, I don't care about anybody anymore at all.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I was so much more engaged in this than solo leveling. Solo leveling,
Yeah,
I
I'm
really
sorry.
fell off really hard,
I'm
really
sorry.
fast.
Some
Sorry.
Dribble could not meet your expectations.
Sorry, Jinwoo,
Yeah.
you're just not that interesting to me.
He was too strong.
Yeah,
just
he's
not that
just
guy.
not-
Well, he.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, I guess I thought it was a fun retelling of history, but yeah, I would agree. Once I knew that the emperor was just he was just big bro now, it wasn't quite as like oh well, I don't know where the plot's gonna go. Is the king still evil? I don't know. It was like oh well, I know he's not. So where are they going now? Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think at this point, with the whole invention arc, you kind of have a pattern of here is a historical problem. Oh, Jin Song found like a historical solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was kind of getting into that sort of pattern.
Mm.
So having the coup d'etat like be a little bit of a twist was pretty fun, but they never go back to the whole like war effort on the barbarians thing like ever. So it's like that was still a problem that's happening, and they just don't talk about it.
Yes. That's true.
It is true. I thought the barbarians were going to be more of a presence.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I was a little worried going into this how they would like sort of portray other like nations, because Korea and Japan definitely have a very contentious history, and Korea and China as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
but they really didn't touch on them at all, which I thought was probably for the best, because I would have had a lot to say if they had put into like any modern political bias into.
Yeah, it would have gotten a
Right.
little sticky.
Yeah.
That's
it would've gotten
true.
really messy really quick. So I'm
Yeah.
glad they really just didn't really talk about that at all. It was really the Jurchen tribes, which I believe are like Mongol.
Possibly. Let's see. How did you feel up until this point, Faye?
I mean, it was what it was. I was content reading it because there were parts that were super fun, and there were parts where I was like, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, come on, all right, yeah, okay, and
Okay, wait, which parts? Which parts? Or you? Yeah, okay.
it was just like a lot of the in between. I'm having trouble remembering like exactly what part, but I think it was in line with like how you felt about it. Was like, yes, okay, here's problem. Yes, okay, here is solution. Fine. All right, you get me this time. You darn kids and your dog. Like,
Yeah.
it's like there was never enough time for any of those problems to feel dire,
Mhm.
Right.
despite the fact that they were.
You know what? You're absolutely right. I think a lot of these problems needed more drama and more time to cook
Yeah.
for them to really feel meaningful. Whereas because they were often solved, you didn't really take the problem seriously.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of to the point. I don't know. Like
And
you
I
knew there'd be a
think
solution, I guess.
Also,
Yeah.
because we are reading this like now all at once, we're binge reading it,
That's true.
whereas people were probably reading this month to month,
That's true.
which definitely gives it a different sort of like timing sense.
Yeah, if we were
Mhm.
reading this week to week, it would be like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? I don't know. But yeah. uh,
I guess, and we're all readers, so I think we all kind of have a touch of this.
yeah.
Of like, because this is still ongoing, you know it's gonna get fixed. So let's just get to the next thing, yeah?
That's true. Yeah. I get it. I get it. That's how I felt with soul leveling, unfortunately. So I do understand.
Well, it's like, I mean, you get to halfway through the book and then you look at the rest of the chapters and you're like, well, he's not dead.
Yeah, he's not dead, obviously, but yeah, he could have been. And then the new perspective was just the Emperor, but
That would have been fascinating.
yeah, that would have been fascinating.
No, what if he died and then he became someone else in a different time period?
Oh,
Oh.
that's gonna be interesting too. He just keeps going. Yeah,
Yeah, he keeps going down the rabbit hole.
yeah.
I could have been down with
Write
that.
that down. Write that down. We could make that.
can make
into-
Write it down right now.
Write that down.
Every time, like dying and ending up in different worlds.
Isn't that kind of like Cloud Atlas a little bit?
Oh,
Sort
yeah,
of.
that is kind of how Cloud Atlas works, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But
That's
not
it.
really, because that's like different worlds.
Yeah, that's
It's not
actually like different worlds
yeah.
and time periods, and they're not reincarnating.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just the idea of love carries over throughout worlds and dimensions and time.
yeah.
Love wins all.
Ugh.
And here, the familial love wins, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, brotherly love.
Yeah.
Brotherly
Oh my
bonds.
gosh! Now I'm just saying that. Makes me think of Persona. Your like, confidant level, your social rank level has gone
Mhm.
up.
Yes.
The king.
That's what he's doing.
I am thou art die. There you
Yeah,
go,
you
like
can
that.
now use the most powerful persona, the Emperor Arcana.
Yeah, the Emperor. That is a real arc.
Man, it's been a hot minute
Oh,
to listen to that.
that's funny. But yeah, I guess going into the war is like they have so much dialogue for fighting. Like, holy crap. That was my main takeaway. I think one of the main takeaways.
Yes. The posterity was up the wazoo.
This entire war was also way less bloody than that first horse scene where he just decapitates
You're
a horse in
right.
like chapter
You're
2.
really upset about this
Like,
horse,
there's
though,
no
aren't you?
blood. No one bleeds, really.
I was
No
kind of
one
fine with
dies.
the horse. I got it. I was like, yeah, all right, that sucks.
Yeah, I was fine with that. Like, I was
But-
like, okay, show that this is still a very brutal medieval society. But no, they kind of just throw bombs at people and then they just die off screen.
Yeah. That's what they do.
Is that not how war
There
works?
was like one scene later that was kind of like oof. That I thought was like visually very good, which was the after they defeat all of the revolters, they get the concubine lady and they like draw and quarter her.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, drawn quarter. It's so fun to say, but horrible to actually see.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Do not recommend. Yeah. Gosh, the war is like a lot of running around too. Like they go all the way to where they're gonna go fight the war, and then realize that actually there's a coup taking place in the palace.
Because like Jingom like sneaks on there, and then they have to send her back, and then she finds out about this whole coup coincidentally, which I do like. At least it is a very like plot coincidence, Deus Ex Machina kind of thing. But
Right.
at least it wasn't the main character who discovered it; it was someone else.
Yeah, somebody else.
That was nice. It was nice that the main character wasn't so main character that everybody else was just like a puppet.
Yeah.
True.
That's how I felt about solo leveling.
Yeah.
They weren't dumbfounded. Like, what do you mean, coup? What's that? Like,
Yeah.
no shit, Sherlock. People are revolting.
Yeah,
Get
people
at
are
it.
Revolting.
And then the
Bitter
barbarians
batter.
just aren't an issue though. They just like go and solve this revolt problem.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, we'll just leave. Who cares about the people that are possibly invading Korea? Like, whatever. Bye. Which
Yeah,
Well,
Lily.
which makes sense. I mean, you have to deal with the like civil war first.
yes, I do agree.
But still,
Absolutely. It was just a
they
little
never
funny.
come back to the barbarian problem. They never ever talk about that again.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly it was fun. So
Yeah, clearly, yeah, it's possible, and I think maybe they touch on it a little bit that like they weren't actually invading; they just like set it all up so they could have the coup. I don't really know though.
Can you imagine how annoying it would be to get somewhere to do a thing that you've been building up to, and then you have to go all the way back from where you came from?
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
leaving
Fix
your
another
wallet when you're going out
problem?
for a drive. You're like, oh my god, I forgot my wallet. No way.
No, and you're buying that thing you're craving. Yeah, that would just make me mad.
Wait, was there a book that we read recently or a manga we read recently that did that same thing and Trish was super pissed about it?
Yes.
What was it? I don't
It was
remember.
Impel Down.
Oh yeah,
Which I don't
you
wanna
went
talk-
all the way.
They go
through
all the
Alan
way
back.
down, and they go all the way out, and they don't even do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Could
yeah,
have been
yeah.
waiting
It's
in that
true.
Marine Ford this whole time.
It's true. It's one of my least favorite things.
Hey, you should really get caught up with One Piece with us.
If you're interested.
How far are you guys in?
Really far.
Respectfully, no.
I understand.
Respectfully, I totally get your decision.
Okay, we're just 500 chapters.
Yeah, it's
in,
only
right?
500 chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah, when
I
I
think
had
we're
a
like-
week off last week, I might have done it. Not anymore.
Oh gosh.
I think we're like 700 in now.
You're right. We're getting further and further.
Well,
Yeah.
Fishman Island ended at like 654,
Yeah.
so.
Did it? Oh man.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, you
no,
guys,
we're,
so-
we're more than halfway through. Wow.
When you're ready to take the plunge on
Halfway
One Piece, I
there.
recommend it. But for now.
Yeah, we'll be this. It'll be like an intervention, but a reverse one. Be like, let's just start reading a few chapters. Why don't you read along
That's
with
called
us?
peer pressure realm.
Yeah, that's called peer pressure. That's not an intervention.
Yeah, that's not intervention. That's
No.
more like what
We're
is it? Like
hazing.
a door-to-door Bible people, except instead of Bible, it's One Piece.
Yeah, have you heard of the?
Have you heard the good word? Of
Have
One
you heard
Piece?
the word? Have you
No.
heard the word of Sniper
Oh,
King?
goodness, of Snipe King, yeah. Oh god.
The one and only?
No. But yeah. So back to my Royal Awakening. Basically the story ends, or the last like bit of things that happen is like they all return back to the palace. They utilize the hot air balloons to like be cool and stop the coup from happening.
By letting the king escape from his palace.
Yeah. They let
I
us
do like that the people rose up, like the people that Jinson has been helping this whole time did rise up to like support
Yes.
their side.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was nice too.
I
I like.
didn't care about any of these villains. These villains were all kind of just there.
Yeah, I'm reading a lot of things now. It feels like where the villain is just so comically evil. It's like, how am I supposed to? I don't care about you. You should just go away. Like, you're obviously evil.
I mean, what was it like a few years ago where it was like, oh no, the villain has a point.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. I guess for me, I like to know where the villain's coming from, even if I don't agree with them. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's like a little bit of that, but not much.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of like, oh, we don't want a tyrannical ruler. But at the same time, like, I thought we already solved that. Like, he's not going to be a tyrant anymore.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they were still considering him tyrannical because he wasn't doing what they wanted him to do.
Yeah.
I would say, in my professional
rebels.
opinion, the table I stubbed my toe on had more evil intent than these villains.
Damn.
I didn't pull a Marvel where it's like, I'm you, but with the exact same powers, but I'm evil.
But I'm evil. Yeah. Yeah.
See, we have our own library card here. Evil.
Yeah.
Evil. Wow. But yeah, so they they kind of fight, but they end up blowing up a bunch of the rebels, and they all just surrender. The ones that survive.
They literally go lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
Yeah, there's like a joke where they like throw the chamber pot instead of a bomb at one point.
Because they don't actually have any bombs prepped. But
Yeah, which
then
was silly.
It comes in with the actual bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
By the way, during the whole escape for the king, did you guys like the quick, like, horror scene that happened with his dream?
No, that
Oh.
was fucking out of nowhere.
I was like,
It was out of nowhere, but in the coolest way possible. Like, there could have been so much to be done with
yeah,
that type of design, and then it was like nothing. Like, it worked really well for what it did, but like, oh my god, there could have been so much more.
I just hate the whole like. By the time she had like the snake tongue out and was like looking all evil and stuff, I was like, okay, this is just a dream.
yeah.
And it turned out, oh, it was just a dream.
Yeah.
I don't like it was just a dream sequences.
Me too. Yeah, I think it could have been really, even if it was a dream, if it had like purpose or something, it would have been cool, but it was just a dream.
Yeah, but in the end, he doesn't really like have any other confrontation with her. She just kind of stabs him near the end.
Yeah, they're all like, yay, we did it, and then they sit down, and then he gets stabbed.
Yeah, she just comes out of nowhere. She's like, ha!
Fa-cha! Yeah.
Then
Toto for Foley work?
Yeah, Foley work, yes!
Exactly. I'm saying Hwa-cha, not referring to their like divine weapon, of course.
No. And then something weird happens when after he gets stabbed in the neck. Which is the start of me not liking it anymore, but it's okay. Because he like has like a dream quotation marks that he's in present day Korea.
We're talking about the king. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the main character.
Oh yeah, the king has a dream that he is in present day Korea. Quotation mark dream. And his manager is the Grand Prince, and he's like an actor in a movie all about the king's life.
And it was all him method acting this whole time.
whole
He's just too into
time.
the role.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was like, why though?
Why not?
I guess
You had like 2 seconds of modern day element in the first place, you know?
that's true, but I guess the king has really imaginative dreams because he has like 2 dreams in the whole series at least, and no one else has dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But he's okay. He wakes up and he's not dead.
At least he looked kind of. Even though I'm gay, I can admit he looked hot in the suit. Okay. Okay, good.
I did wish he commented, he's like, wow, I kind of look good in this thing. What the heck? What is it?
Yeah.
What is this? Yeah.
But then, like, after that, he just kind of wakes up back in after like having a mental breakdown during a press conference.
Yeah.
He just wakes up back in the olden times again. And he was like, I had the weirdest dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it was just that, you know what? I would have actually been okay with just that little like weirdness.
Yep. Me too.
But then it keeps going.
It kept going. I mean, they have the end of the series. They invent billiards and bowling, and the king abdicates the
People
throne.
get married.
Yes, and he's like,
Including
can you
that one
become the
laundry lady and that
king?
one servant, and I thought they were super cute, even though they
Oh,
didn't
they
really
were so
do
cute.
anything.
Yeah, they were very cute. They weren't very
They were very
involved in
cute.
the
I
plot,
liked
but they were cute. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh. And then Jinsong becomes the king anyway, even though he didn't want to become the king.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
then I thought, like, it made sense. He made all the inventions. The actual king, all he did was fight with his courtiers all the time.
It's true. He didn't actually do anything.
The person who actually helped them all was Jin Song this whole time.
Yes.
Exactly, the
And
what
all
comes
things
around
out,
goes around type
you
thing.
know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it did make sense.
And his wife was pregnant.
was
Yeah.
preggers. Yep.
Mhm.
Pregante.
Yeah.
And
It
then
was very
Got
cute.
pregnant.
yeah. And then that's the end of the actual series basically.
And
And I
it
was
kept
happy.
going.
I was like happy. I was like, that's a perfectly fine ending. Okay, I can
Yeah.
be good with that. And then there's like 4 extra chapters.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I personally didn't finish the both the side stories. I only finished truly finished like the first one with the baby.
The first one
Just
with the
because
baby's
I
fine.
forgot to read it. Yeah. So we can totally stop after the baby one,
Oh, okay.
if that's alright. If because you guys don't really like the. A lot of
I
people,
mean-
I see a lot of people online did not like it.
Yeah. I did not like it.
I didn't like it either. How do you feel?
You
Faye?
mind if
Did
we
you-
tell-
did you-
talk about
did
it,
you
Ralph,
torture
or should we
yourself with
not?
it?
Until
What's
you
up?
read it. Should we talk about it?
No,
here,
you
or-
guys can talk about it. It's
Oh.
no spoiler. The main story is done.
Yeah.
Did you read it, Faye?
I did.
Okay.
Okay.
You tortured
Please
yourself
enlighten
with it?
Okay. Honestly, Realm, just don't read it, and the series will be better.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see.
so it turns out that it wasn't just a dream, and then Jin Song wakes up back in the real world again. And then he's like, what? No, I was like finally emperor and I had a wife and kid. And now I'm jobless again. And he goes like job hunting, and it happens to be in this K-drama that's all historical and stuff about the Mad King. And then he finds the emperor there also in the real, not in the real world, but like modern
Modern
day for
world.
some reason. And he's also like
Mhm.
super confused.
Yep.
And then they see each other, he's like, brother? And then they recognize each other.
Yep.
And then he like becomes a manager, so it wasn't just a dream. It was like actually like him being
Yeah.
transported to the modern day.
Yeah.
And then they like blah blah blah. They like get into the parts of the drama.
Yeah, they start becoming an actor and a manager for reals.
Oh,
And
really?
then they're like,
Yeah.
oh, we need someone to play like Jin Song's wife. Oh, I found this girl on the street who has the exact same name as her. And it's like, she's also transported to this world.
Yeah, so the wife is there
And
too.
And it ends with them like running to each other, about to hug. And it's like the most like K-drama thing ever. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, why?
It's like, but
Why are they here? Was it a dream? What
I need to
happened?
know how this time travel works for me to accept it, and they gave me nothing.
Was it from like a totally different timeline, or if it's from the same timeline, then this reality shouldn't work then, because he just disappeared.
Yeah, because the story they're telling in the movie is like of the king being an evil tyrant. So I was
Yeah.
like,
Like, I'm saying if Jin Song like teleported like from that time period back to modern day, that means he should have stopped existing in
yeah.
that older time period, so this modern history shouldn't even work. But
Here we
I
are.
had to think about it.
Here we are.
I was gonna say I like that I can hear Toto's like brain cells exploding.
Right?
I know you can feel the steam coming out of my ears. I know.
Yeah.
It just like logically and thematically makes no sense. If you just want all the characters to have a happy ending, I guess, but they already had a happy ending.
they
So like,
had a
what
happy
did this
ending.
do? What did this do?
I don't know.
Well, like I guess some people had the idea that like the time traveling thing was like, was it a dream? Because the king got from the dream and then came back, but like, did he really come
I just
back?
feel
Or
like
like,
they
did he
didn't know how to
go?
end the series.
They just
I
ended with him
feel
being the king. That's a good
I
ending.
know. I feel like they were like, but I could have done this, and then they changed it last minute as an extra chapter, and it's just like, why?
Yeah,
Why'd you do
like
that?
you said, they were like had a thing and then they pulled their punches and then like was just like, oh yeah, I totally want to do this, but then you do it at the end of the story, you're like, you should have pulled your punches there.
Yeah,
I think the
yeah.
only way the K drama thing would have been acceptable is as an announcement this was turning into a K drama.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
if that had been the case, I would have accepted it. Yeah.
But then also, what happened to their kid? Like the
Yes.
wife that got teleported to the modern day, he got teleported to the modern day. What about the kid that just didn't
Oh, yeah,
need
that
on
kid's
to
gone.
FaceTime? Like,
The
what?
kid got
The
eaten.
kid got
Yeah,
lost to the
and what
time
about
soup.
the Emperor's like wife and kid? He also lost his wife and kid. We just not gonna give him that back. He's just like stuck in modern day now, I guess.
Right. Goodbye. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. But yeah,
Maybe it was setting up for a sequel. I don't know, but like I didn't like it.
yeah,
Awful sequel. Awful options.
awful options.
Like
You're right.
reverse isekai.
Yeah, I thought just end where it ends in chapter 84
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly.
Yeah, I was like, that's fine. I can accept that, even if I didn't I didn't enjoy the last third as much, just because I felt like it was really crammed together.
Mhm.
I was fine with the ending, and then they added all
Yeah.
that other stuff.
It's the like Harry Potter effect where like you go too far and you're like, actually, wizards used to shit on the floor and teleport outside. And that's
Yeah.
what used to happen in the past. It's like stop talking.
Stop talking.
Stop talking.
I'm
You didn't have
guessing
to
let
be
it
about to
be.
say this, and now you're loud and wrong.
I know, exactly.
Yeah, now you're loud and wrong. Yeah.
You could have just kept your mouth shut, fucking J.K. Rowling. But no, you just had to ruin everything.
You just
Okay.
had to make the
Nor.
weird time travel thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a cop out, honestly. Like it was like some weird way to tie it all up, but then managed to leave most loose ends. Or
Yeah,
more loose ends than anything else.
that's fair.
Yeah,
know.
no one even tied the shoe here. They're all tripping on themselves.
Yeah, I posted a thing in the Discord where someone was doing shot put, and I'm like, this is how I felt like the series went. It like started in a good direction, went around in circles a couple times, and then just whoop, you threw the shot put way in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just skip the ending, and it's a fine series.
Yeah, don't read the bonus chapters. Just read
Yeah,
the chapter 84,
Mm-mm.
and then it's like at least okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
I feel like it's hard to think that it's like the worst ever manhwa because I've read way worse.
Yeah,
but
sure. Yeah, solo leveling I enjoyed way less. I enjoyed this far more. I actively was okay with clicking the next chapter button.
I know that.
Hmm
I know what you're saying. Oh no.
Yeah. Instead of dreading having to click the next chapter button, I was like, yeah, let's go to the next chapter. I'm down to read this.
Jinwoo, why? But yeah.
Triple lives on. I know they're like I think they're like almost 30 chapters into a side story for
Oh
them.
my gosh.
Just like, dude, just let it die.
No.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's like we need to stop now.
Yeah.
You better stop.
All right. I guess that's my Royal Awakening.
No.
I like that it
Shall
wasn't
we-
too long. That was good. Wasn't
Yeah,
too long.
a
It was
great
sweet,
length.
you know? Yeah.
Shall we give rankings?
Yeah, we can give rankings. For context for people who are new, and if anybody forgot, Slug is the objective one because we're seeing if we recommend the series to the slugs, the sluglings,
Mhm.
and the star is our personal rating on it. Or you can just like give whatever kind of rating you want. Honestly, I don't really have hard and fast. I don't really have like hard rules here.
No.
Uh,
Hard and fast. That
hard
is
and-
not the slug way.
No, slow
Maybe
and
slow and soft.
slow and squishy.
Yeah.
Extra squeezy.
Yeah.
Not the extra squishy.
Yeah.
All right. Would you
Mom,
like
do
to
you want to
go?
go first? Since that you're the one who recommended
Oh,
the
well.
series.
Sure. All right. I would say, coming from somebody who habitually reads manhwas, whether it be good or bad, I would objectively rate this at about an 8.5.
Hmm.
I think the pacing was overall pretty good. There is I was going to mention it before, but there is a part in a manhwa, Faye may also know this because you also indulge in the webtoon or two, that after like the first arc, meaning like the first 20 to 30 chapters, there's that lull time that happens. In this instance, it was like the tech boom sort of instance before like it got to the war. You can lose a lot of readers because it all of a sudden like drips down. It's like Skypiea to long ring, long land.
Oh yeah.
It
Or
is
like
it's
second
very
half
common.
of Death Note or something.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, it can happen a lot, and it did a very good job at sort of subverting it. Meaning, it just like let him be free, but like he's always been free, so it kind of makes sense. But like, you're kind of a little interested. did a great job at that. The history element got me really intrigued because if I was Googling stuff after I was done reading, where I'm supposed to be going to bed, but I'm still Googling about, like Korean weapons or, formal wear, then you got me hooked to something. And I did a great job of just giving you the information and let you roam with it however you want. So objectively, definitely an 8.5. I would go slug rating, definitely like a 9. Definitely a 9, like up there. If people wanted to get into manhwa, I would say like how long I would have this in mind already. But if I ask somebody the preliminary questions, what do you like? How long of a read do you want? What are you looking for? Most of the time, I would end up at this or solo leveling or other stuff. But like for somebody who is experienced, like Toto, you're very experienced with manga and like so much shonen or other elements to it. I would still recommend this, just like because it's fresh, because it's new, and whether you're a veteran or you're a novice when it comes to reading it, you'd enjoy it. And I really liked it, and I wished I read it sooner. So I really liked it. So thank you.
Nice.
That's a glowing review.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel bad ruining that.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll ruin it then. I think objectively, I would give this a 7 out of 10. I think you should. I would recommend this more personally than solo leveling. However, I do think that this is written for a totally different audience than the people who would read solo leveling. This one doesn't really have a lot of action. A lot of the conflict is more political, more drama, more history based. If you're not into those things, I would not recommend this. I would recommend solo leveling instead. However, if you are interested in like historical fiction or just want to know more about Korean culture in general, this is a great read. They had little like excerpts or little like sidebars on the Korean culture that was super interesting. Like one thing that we didn't even mention was they had like erotic paintings back in the day that they would show like the women of the court and the men of the court to teach them sex ed. Like
I
that's
think
how
it's
they
called the
taught
big
stuff.
hair ritual.
Yeah. And like there's like stuff like that, or like the standards of beauty at the time, or the different laws. Like those were like all very, very interesting. However, like I said, I would only give it a 7 out of 10. If you are looking for something action heavy, then this might not be the one for you. The art was, we haven't really talked about the art, but the art was very, I will say it's very consistent. It was very colorful. It was very good.
Yeah.
The character designs all had very well detailed proportions and well detailed. I was most impressed by the like formal wear that they did. It was all very like historically accurate looking. I'm not sure how historically accurate it really was, but it all looked very good, and that was great. The my personal rating for this, I would probably give it a 6 out of 10. I would have given it a 7, but that ending really really cost it a point there. I think the first like third to one half, I was really into like, okay, what's next? What's next? I really wanted to see what happened next. After it kind of got into a holding pattern, I was like, this is still good, but it's not as good as before. And then it kind of just flew off the deep end at the very end. So just skip the ending, and I would give it a 7 out of 10 personal rating.
Do you want to go last, Faye, or do you want to go next?
No, I can go. It's your stream. You should go last.
Okay. All right.
Zoe, so it's a good read. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. I think for a casual rating, I think a 7 out of 10 is a fair one. If you play Civ 6, you'll probably like it. You know what I mean? Like, the art was really cute. Yeah. The art was cute. There was nothing inherently wrong with it. The horses were like weirdly super on point. That was super weird for me. Is like the horse was more realistic than the person. I was like, okay,
Right. They
that's
were
fine,
really
whatever.
realistic.
But it was very cute. As a personal rating, I'm gonna strike it pretty low. It was historically nice and fun. But I just did not like our little main character boy.
Yeah.
I just could
That was
not
tough.
get behind him, and I kind of want to just whack him around. So,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
feel like
really
that was a
hard to give
writing
a
issue,
story
not
of
like a character
the main
issue.
if you're like not into the main character.
Yeah,
You know?
totally.
Yeah. And I think that was a writing issue. I found the writing mildly inconsistent with the characters' wants, needs, goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
So it wasn't like, oh, you want to fight the character, that means it was good writing. No, I wanted to fight the writer. So 7 out of 10 stars, and then I'm gonna do 3 sluggos.
Oh dang.
Because there's nothing
Oh, wait, no,
inherently
I think
wrong
that's
with it, but I'm not
the other
gonna
way around.
suggest it.
Oh, it's the other
sorry,
way
sorry.
around. It's okay.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It's okay. It doesn't. It literally doesn't. It's okay. We got what you mean.
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
I don't even know if I rated anything as a 3 in a long time. I'm sorry. For me, I think objectively for sluggy rating, it's I think it's actually like an 8. I think that the art is really consistent throughout, and it's very easy to read. The plot progresses in a way that is like easy to just like consume it all in one go, kind of. I also think it does a pretty reasonable job of like. So I could never get into like historical dramas type things, but this I could get into, I guess, because I could put it down, and it also isn't as long as watching like an hour-long K-drama episode. So I think, if you can't get into that but are still really interested in, Korean history and you want to, like, I don't know, experience it, I think it's a really good choice. I think I'm actually going to recommend it to my sister because this is the kind of thing she would eat up. So historians, maybe you should read this. Yeah, I think it was fun. For that reason, anyway. I think my personal rating, it's probably like a 7. I think there were parts where I thought it was far too convenient. I still had fun with it. I wasn't bored, I guess. So 7 is like it's okay rating. Yeah, the ending really killed it for me though. It probably would have been like an 8 if I hadn't read those 2 chapters. Because I now realize that the going, it was all a dream, or it was actually just a time travel story and no one knew the whole time. That like ruins it for me all the time. Every time. But yeah, cute art. I had fun reading it. Overall, a good time. I feel like everyone basically covered the points I would have said. Yeah, overall, I think it was a good pick for us to read because I do realize that upon doing research today that it's actually pretty popular and recommended highly, so I guess it's like fun to check it out.
And I think it's the second manhwa we've read on this club, and it's a very different one than solo leveling one.
I appreciate that it's not solo leveling.
I'm
sorry.
You were saying, like, I don't remember if I rated anything like a 3 or lower. I do. It was solo.
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, honestly, yeah.
But that's okay. You know what? I don't like solo leveling, but I like this one, and Faye didn't like this one as much personally, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's just people. People are different, and that's why we have a book club.
That's
so
how
we
book
have
clubs
different
work. Yeah. But yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I really should have told my sister about this the other day when I saw her. Oh well. Next time.
Message her, like, we're not in feudal ages. You don't have to send a horse messenger over.
That's true. You're right. I could just message her.
No, we're
Carrier pigeon will get it done.
Yeah, we only
there you go.
Yeah.
we only speak via letter.
Oh yeah. because you're a slug. Obviously, you have to do it through snail mail.
Yes.
Mhm. No, but you should have the snail phones.
Oh yeah, you're getting mushy.
The
Bit, 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 bit.
Denimushi, yeah.
That's great.
I wish you'd call me on my cell phone.
Yeah.
Yes,
If that isn't
exactly.
that isn't your ringtone, Trips, you're
It's
doing it wrong.
not. It's not, but it
Change
should
it
be.
right now.
Change it right now.
Say seg right now.
Before we go, what I don't remember what it's called. What the next one we're reading is called for next month. Unholy Blood, is
Oh.
that it?
I believe that was the next one.
Next would be Unholy Blood. I haven't read this, but I have heard many good things about it.
Mm.
And has you heard of it too, Faye?
Yeah, I actually finished it
Oh.
last year. Early this year,
Yes.
late last year. I can't
Oh.
remember when it officially ended. So yeah, I read it all the way through. But knowing what I know about Toto, you're gonna hate MC, and it's gonna be hilarious.
Oh my god. Okay, can you
I'm
tell us what
into
it's
it.
about then? Since you're the one who's read it already. Give us a rundown, okay?
So we have a vampire girl, and she's originally just trying to vibe, and then she escalates into needing to take down all these like vamp bosses for various reasons.
Mm.
But instead of like taking a lot of them down, they all have like really fun emotional issues. So there's no like bad guy, and you just gotta like flip everything around. It's a lot of fun. I don't want to like spoil it, and I'm really
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
about spoiling.
There you
things.
go.
Okay.
A sneak
It-
preview is good
Why,
enough.
why do you think I'll hate it? What?
Because
It's vampires.
in character, our main character has like the answers to everything.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I am very interested. Like the thing is, I haven't read
It's
something.
cute, at least.
Yeah, she's cute.
Oh yeah, the art's beautiful.
Yeah, she's really
Okay.
cute actually. I'm a hard sell when it comes to vampires, so I'm interested to know how.
She puts on a leather jacket, Toto. I don't know if that like says
Oh.
something.
Okay, okay. But then if she's like, it's probably gonna be like super straight though, huh?
It might be.
Yeah,
well, 'cause
unfortunately,
it's
she's
Korean,
very
Yeah,
Korean.
because it's like, yeah.
Yeah,
There's not a
manhwa.
lot of options though. Otherwise, like there was only really ever one option when you read the webcomic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all the options are probably dudes, huh?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. Okay, you're right. I don't think I'll like it, but I'll read it anyway. Good job, Dee.
Focus on the leather jacket.
She
Side
puts on a
characters
leather
are super
jacket.
hot. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, I play a lot of Otome games, and half the time I'm like, I like the main character the most. Can I date her instead?
Yeah. No, I used to watch like I talked about this on my stream earlier, but I used to watch like harem anime back in middle school and stuff.
Oh,
At
yeah.
a certain point, I was like, wait, the main character in these suck. He's just like a normal like Japanese kid. Why don't the girls just date each other? They're so much more interesting.
You're
What is
right.
going on?
You're so right.
We should get you in the studio, start scripting.
Exactly.
Dawn will draw. We'll get this on the pen. Let's go.
Oh. Oh yeah, I'll plug book club and I'll plug friends again.
And then I think next time for One Piece, we'll be reading Punk Hazard.
Yes,
Which
Punk
is-
Hazard.
I will say this is not my favorite arc.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's not bad, and I think on reread, especially with color, I thought it was better.
Oh, okay.
But, what's the word? Set your expectations a little lower.
Manage your expectations.
Manage your expectations.
2-0.
That
Wah, wah, wah.
we'll be.
Like, I don't think it's the worst ever, but I think after like the super highs of One Piece, the like first few arcs of the New World are not
Oh,
as high.
okay. Well, we're gonna read it anyway.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
we will be discussing Punk Hazard on July 25th. And I don't know the exact date of when we'll discuss Unholy Blood, but I will tell you as soon as I know.